is the story, the fantastically true story of Herbert A. Philbrick, who for 9 frightening years did lead 3 lives. Average citizen, high-level member of the Communist Party, and counter-spy for the Federal Bureau of Investigation. For obvious reasons, the names, dates, and places have been changed, but the story is based on fact. You're about to see the Communist Party's complete disregard for human rights as they effect their plan of sabotage. Comrade Shaw said he'd meet you here in exactly 5 minutes, Philbrick. You've got 30 seconds before he's due. Seen him around, Philbrick. He's one of the party's goon squad. Another one of the party's goons. Somebody's in for trouble.
Everything okay?
Wife just left the house. He's alone.
Now, how long is she usually away?
A couple hours.
That's time enough. Cover the back door. We'll go around the front.
There's a path over there.
Okay, let's go. Make sure you don't mention any of our names, understand?
Yes?
We'd like to talk to you, Mr. Knighty.
What about? I'm rather busy right now.
Well, it's very personal. May we come inside?
Well, if you'll just write me a letter, I'll... Who are you? What do you want?
Where can we talk?
What's this all about?
The studio's in the back. Good.
I want to know what this is all about. Who are you? What do you want?
Sit down, Comrade Nyby. Perhaps you don't know who Nyby is. He's the creator of the comic strip, Captain Champion. It's been a long time since anyone's called you comrade, eh, Nyby?
I left the party 7 years ago.
You mean you moved away and you stopped attending meetings, that's all?
I quit the party, I tell you. I got a right to resign, haven't I? Look, I'll give you my resignation in writing. Here.
No member ever resigns from the party, you know that.
What do you want from me?
We want you back in the fold, comrade, where you belong.
I don't want to have anything to do with the party.
It's a little late for that, comrade. You were a card-holding member for 2 years. You worked for the party. We can prove that.
I got out as soon as I found out what you were really after.
The main thing is you were a member. If that fact is made public, you know what'll happen to you. You've got your Captain Champion in quite a spot, Nyby. I don't see how you're going to get him out of it. Now, let's get down to business.
What business? What do you want?
First of all, a check for $200. Back dues.
I can't spare that much.
I'm getting a little tired of these arguments of yours, Nyby. I think he might need a little persuasion to make him fall in line. Come on.
Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
I'll let this be a lesson to you, Herb.
A lesson?
I mean, in dealing with people like Nyby. Well, that's one of the reasons I wanted you along today. The other is you're to be his contact. Are we in accord now, comrade?
How much did you say?
Well, 200, comrade. You see, we're really not hard to get along with.
Made out the cash?
No, make it out to Fred Halliday. Next week, we'll want another check in the same amount. This comrade will be by to pick it up a week from today. All right, boys. Well, of course, you know better than to tell anyone that we were here. He won't give you any trouble. He knows no one can help him.
It depends on how much Comrade Nibbe wants to be helped. The FBI has dealt with these cases before. Leave it to them, Philbrick. They know what to do.
The situation hasn't changed since your first call, Herb. The only answer I can give this Nibbe is what I said then. He'll have to come to the FBI and get the whole thing off his chest.
He won't do it, Jerry. I've been watching him. He's scared stiff. In the meantime, there's blackmail rackets getting him in deeper every week.
Are the checks still being made out to Halliday?
Yep.
Yeah, the party would pick a well-known commie. If those checks are ever made public, Nibbe will have a hard time explaining them.
Party figures he's a real soft touch, too. This week, I've been told to get 300 from him.
Yeah, they'll keep raising the ante, Herb. But until Nibbe makes a move, there isn't anything we can do. And that goes double for you. Just play it the party way. We'll have to sit tight and see what happens.
Okay, Jerry. I'll be seeing you. Don't try to help him, Philbrick. Leave it up to the FBI. You just play it the party way.
Here you are.
Sorry, comrade, I've got new instructions. From now on, you pay 300 a week.
300? I can't afford it.
Orders, comrade. Well, how about it?
Okay, there's your 300.
You know better than that, comrade. A check.
How much longer am I expected to pay this blackmail?
You just keep on writing out the checks. The party will tell you when you're finished. If he only had the courage to go to the FBI, but he won't. He's not the type. He'll just let the party keep on bleeding him until he dies. Funny. A man with the imagination to conceive a popular comic strip, and yet he hasn't enough sense to go to the FBI. Hello?
Philbrick,
Yes.
meet me at Nibbe's house immediately.
Come in.
Oh. Something the matter, comrade?
Plenty. Nibbe's check came back from the bank marked payment stopped.
He stopped payment. Where is he?
He tried to run out, had his wife leave on one plane. He tried to take another.
You say he tried to. He didn't get away with it?
No, the boys picked him up. Did you really think you could get away, comrade? Did you?
It was worth a try. Go ahead, have your goons work me over some more. I don't care what you do to me.
That's too bad. You see, the party has always felt that your comic strip could be of importance in our propaganda work. You're about to be promoted. That's your new storyline for Captain Champion. If you're willing to follow it, I think we might be able to keep this little deviation of yours a secret.
It was your only hold over me, my strip and the money I was making from it. Well, I've got news for you. I'm going to discontinue Captain Champion.
That's rather a drastic step, isn't it?
It's worth it. I'm even planning to go to the FBI and confess my party association.
That takes courage. A lot of courage. I don't think you have that much.
You'll see.
Well, let's find out right now. Look up the phone number of the FBI.
Here it is. Alley 32157.
Go ahead. Call him. Go on. Go ahead.
The number is Halley 32157.
Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Or there's just one thing you've forgotten, Ivy. Your wife.
Federal Bureau of Investigation.
What about her?
I'll tell you when you finish. Go ahead. The operator's waiting.
Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Just a moment, operator, please. What about my wife?
Oh, we know where you sent her. She's being watched. The minute you talk to the FBI, our comrades will be instructed to take action against her.
What sort of action?
Well, use your imagination, Ivy. You're good at thinking up the blood-curdling situation.
Never mind, operator.
Hello, Herb. Sit down. I got the board all set up. How about a game of checkers?
Good idea.
Anything new with Nibby?
Nothing. Ever since they told him what had happened to his wife, he talked, he's done exactly as they said.
I wonder how long he can keep this up before his newspaper syndicate cracks down on him.
What do you mean?
Take a look at this.
Champion says, I tell you, Chief, I'd stake my life the man who set fire to the school was one of the city councilmen. Chief says, Champion, you've been on the force long enough to know that there's certain people we can't touch. How do you like that? The same old commie line, putting one class against another.
Any day now, I expect to hear Captain Champion spouting quotations from Lenin.
Is there anything you can do about it, Jerry?
Oh, if there were only some way, Herb, we could find out where Nibby's wife is. And then let Nibby know that the FBI is protecting her. I think then he'd be willing to talk.
Hey, why don't I start dropping some hints around Comrade Shaw? He must know.
No, Herb, that's out. Don't go prying around. We don't want you to get into trouble.
Yeah, but the fellow's cracking up, Jerry. He's going to fall apart any day.
Well, we'll just have to hope that we can do something for him before that day comes.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's your move, Herb.
Hmm?
I say it's your move.
Oh. Oh.
Everything go all right, comrade?
Perfect.
Good.
Any instructions?
No. I'll just make your regular call next week. That will be Comrade Nibby's swan song.
Swan song?
Mm-hmm. Of course, you won't mention that to him.
But I thought he was valuable to us.
He was, up to a point. Now he's outlived his usefulness. He's the type of neurotic who might suddenly decide to commit suicide. And, of course, he'd leave a note involving the party.
And, we're going to beat him to the punch.
Exactly. Right after we receive his check next week, the FBI will get anonymous information proving that Charlie Nivey is a member of the Communist Party.
That's very clever, comrade.
Thank you. That'll be all, comrade. I'll see you next week.
Keep your mind on your work, Philbrick. The FBI's on the job. Just stop by Comrade Nivey's tomorrow, pick up the check, and then wait for the fireworks. That'll be top news. The creator of Captain Champion turns out to be a commie. Hello?
I'd like to see you as soon as possible. It's important. That shipment arrived this morning.
Oh? All right, I'll leave right away. Where'll I meet you?
Maybe you'd better check it before we deliver. It's at the warehouse, 8th and Colton. I'll meet you there.
Right.
Hello, Herb.
Hi, Jerry. Golly, I wish we could get a new meeting place. This one gives me the creeps. What about that shipment you were mentioning?
We had a meeting with your friend Nivey last night.
Nivey?
He told us the whole story. How he joined the party and tried to drop out. How they found him a couple months ago and started blackmailing him. He even told us where his wife is so we can protect her now.
Oh, gosh, that's great, Jerry.
Not so great for you, Herb.
What do you mean?
He also told us that the party's courier is due at his house tomorrow. A couple of agents will be planted there. The courier is going to be arrested, Herb, as soon as Nivey hands him the check. I won't be in on it, Herb. But even if I were, there isn't anything I can do. You know that, don't you?
Sure, I understand, Jerry. The FBI can't protect its counter spies if they're caught.
Of course, the commies will know about it as soon as it happens. And if we didn't arrest you, they'd know that you were working with us.
I understand, Jerry. You don't have to explain.
But do you understand? Herb, under no circumstances are you to make that pickup at Nivey's tomorrow. Make some excuse to Shaw if you think you have to. Say anything you want. But stay away.
Okay. This place still reminds me of a morgue. I'll see you.
So long.
Maybe you should have left town last night. Then you could have wired Shaw that you had to make a sudden business trip. Only thing you can do now is call and tell him you're tied up. Tell him he'll have to send somebody else for the check. It won't seem suspicious. Not for a few hours, anyway.
I've been waiting for you. I'm going to Nivey's place with you.
Oh, I was just going to call you. I can't make it. I've been called out of town on business. I was just going to drop by the office for a second.
Oh? Are you driving?
Yeah?
Well, I'll tell you what. You drop me by Nivey's place, and then you go on ahead.
Gosh, I don't know if I'll have time.
Look, my car's in the shop. I'm in a spot. Come on, it won't take long.
You can't get out of it now, Philbrick. Comrade Shaw would know something's wrong.
Have a successful trip, Herb.
Thanks. Goodbye, comrade.
How about our weekly meeting, friend? Aren't you coming in?
I'm handling it this time. Let's go in the house, comrade.
Just a minute. I've got something I have to tell both of you.
Well, I'm in a hurry.
I thought that the party affairs always came first with you, loyal comrade. I promise you it won't take long.
Well, wait a minute. Sounds interesting.
How much time have you got, Philbrick? What was it Dressler said? The courier's going to be arrested as soon as Nivey hands him the check. You've got to get out of there before that happens.
Won't you sit down, gentlemen? Or should I say comrades?
Now, what's so important, Nivey?
I've been getting some complaints from my readers. You'd be amazed if you knew how many people can smell party propaganda. They don't seem to like the way Captain Champion's been talking lately.
Well, that's too bad.
Is the party happy with it, comrade? That's all I want to know. Is there enough propaganda in it to satisfy you?
You're doing exactly what we told you to.
And how do you feel about it, comrade?
Oh, I think it's fine.
Good. I'm afraid, though, that the captain and I can no longer do you any good. You see, we've just been fired.
Well, I guess if that's all you had to tell me, Comrade Nibby, I can be running along.
Wait a minute. What about this week's check, comrade?
I was coming to that. Without an income, I'll have to stop my regular donation. But don't worry, comrade. I've put aside enough for one more payment. I don't know what's going to happen to me. Tell me, comrade, does the party have a hardship fund for unemployed members?
Oh, now, don't you worry, Nibby. We'll take good care of you. Matter of fact, that's why I came over today. You see, we've got something for you right now. You take this to the Walton building, room 200. Now, don't open it. They'll have something for you there. Oh, but first, comrade, the check.
Oh, of course, the check.
This is the signal. The FBI will break in any second. There's no way out now.
There you are. The last one. What are you doing here?
See that Comrade Nibby reaches the Walton building safely. Is everything taken care of upstairs?
All set.
Good.
What's this all about, Comrade?
Well, we were just putting the finishing touches to the end of Comrade Nibby's party career. The FBI will be waiting for him at his destination. The envelope I gave him contains documentary proof of Nibby's guilt in connection with certain party crimes.
What's with upstairs?
Well, I had the boys plant some evidence against Mrs. Nibby. After all, if her husband's one of us, she should be, too. I'm sorry I detained you. You better get going.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I almost forgot. What happened, Philbrick? What saved you? Did the FBI slip up? Did they suddenly change their plans?
Hi, Herb.
Jerry, what happened?
I tried to get in touch with you this morning to tell you, but you didn't go to your office.
To tell me what?
We had a stakeout at Nibby's house during the night. Our agent saw those two goons break in with an armload of pamphlets and papers. They couldn't follow them in. Thought there was something big up, and they didn't want to scare them off.
Yeah. Nibby's walking into a trap. They've got phony evidence planted on him.
I know.
You know? How could you? You said you weren't there.
But we arranged with Nibby to plant a recorder in his house. You're in the clear, Herb. Your name wasn't even mentioned. We heard everything that went on. They can't smear Nibby now.
Why didn't you tell me that before?
You didn't give me much chance. And by the way, have you seen today's Captain Champion?
No, why?
Take a look at it. Nibby really pulled a fast one on the party.
Captain Champion says, at a meeting of the Board of Commissioners, gentlemen, I'm handing in my resignation effective today. But Champion, says the commissioner, you've been on the force for 20 years. Why are you quitting? Champion says, because I have no right to wear a badge. You see, years ago, for a very short time, I was a member of the Communist Party.
Go ahead, Herb. There's more.
Yeah, he says, I found out the truth about communism, the rotten thing it really is. How the commies plan the traitorous overthrow of the United States government by means of violence. From now on, I'm joining the crusade that every American should take part in. The fight against communism.
Pretty strong stuff for a comic strip, eh? Sounds like Nibby is planning a new strip. Sort of a Captain Champion versus the Reds or something.
Yeah. Jerry, what's going to happen when the public finds out that Nibby was once a commie?
I don't know, Herb. It's up to the American people. But I think they're usually willing to give a guy a break.
Because the communists failed in their plan to sacrifice and discredit a former party member, Charles Nyby was given a new opportunity to be a decent and useful citizen. Next week, another story from the files of a man who spent 9 fantastic years as a counter-spy for the Federal Bureau of Investigation.